When we think about baby Jesus, laying there in that manger, surrounded by animals, kind of a pretty humble beginning. Well, what that is, though, is that's the kickoff of something amazing. That's the beginning of the end for the old order of things. The old way is now passing away and it's going away. And we're looking forward to that day when the dwelling of God is with man and little baby Jesus is King Jesus and he's ruling over all people and the lion is laying with the lamb and the child is playing with the snake and it's an upside down kingdom because everything is provided for everyone and everyone is protected from everything. And it's an everlasting, eternal kingdom of peace. And that's what we look forward to. And so here's what we've got. We've got way back here, we've got Ahaz. And he's saying, here comes King Pekah and King Perez, and they're going to wipe us out. And Isaiah is saying, no, God's going to take care of you. And there's a sign, the birth of a child. His name is Emmanuel. It means God with us. And he's going to bring a kingdom of peace. And then 800 years later, God fulfills that promise by sending a child, Emmanuel, God with us. And then that child fulfills the promise of Isaiah by bringing light to the regions of Galilee. And then we look forward to the day when that child returns to bring that kingdom of peace. And that is really exciting. That is really fantastic, and it's something great to look forward to. But how does it bring peace this Christmas? It's been 2,000 years since baby Jesus was born. And even though he did some really great things, he didn't bring the kingdom that we thought he was going to bring at that time. And we can only look to the future and say, in the future, that kingdom's coming. But how does that bring peace today? How does that bring me peace? Angela is saying, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. How do I have peace as I wait for the future kingdom? Look at Romans chapter 15. And I already read verse 12 where Paul restates Isaiah's prophecy. But I want to look at the following verse because this is really important. And maybe really is the heart of what I want to say. Paul says, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Now let's break this down because this is a really, really important verse. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace. Peace. Did you know that in these days that we live in, between the birth of baby Jesus and the coming of the full kingdom, that as we live in these days wondering how do we have peace, did you know that every single book that Paul wrote, he began by saying grace and peace to you. Because Paul, the most prolific writer of Christianity, Paul really believed that as we wait for the final kingdom, we can have peace today. And here in Romans 15, Paul says, I want you to have peace. The peace that comes from the God of all hope. And listen to what he says, as you trust in him. Trust. Trust involves a couple things. And again, I'm going to generalize and simplify a little bit. But trust is really about time and about truth. And here's the thing. Truth is true. That's why we call it truth. But truth is not trumped by time. Something doesn't stop being true just because it takes a long time. Or just because in this moment right now it doesn't feel true. Let me illustrate this point. I brought with me today a little instrument to help us learn a little bit about trust. I'm going to need a volunteer. Just kidding. My wife gave me really strict instructions to be careful with this and not to get all hyper. So she also taught me how to put it back. She says, you're going to stab yourself. I know it. I said, no. So, ow. No, just kidding. Just kidding. All right. How many of us have had a shot? How many of you enjoyed that? Yeah. Some sick people out there. Oh, yeah. I see Dr. Tom back there waving his hand. He loves to give them. We got flu shots this year, my family and I. And my wife does this tricky thing where she calls me up, says, hey, by the way, you need to take the kids to the doctor today to get their flu shots. I said, oh, why can't you? Well, I'm busy, so have fun with that. She did meet me there. So got the kids into the car after school, said, all right, let's go. Where are we going? We're going home, but we got to make a stop on the way. Where? You'll see. So we drive along. We pull up to the doctor. Why are we here? Well, we just got to run in and take care of something. And then it dawns on them. Dad, are we getting shots? Yeah. I don't want to get a shot. Really, that's exactly how it happened. And so now I'm hauling one sobbing child and one near sobbing child in to get their flu shots. I'm like, don't worry, guys. I'll get mine first. And you know what we tell kids? What we tell them is, it's just going to hurt for a minute. And you know what? We're right. In and out. It just hurts for a minute. Yeah, you might be a little bit sore for a day, but it just hurts for a minute. And the truth is that shot in 1 week, we'll have forgotten it. There'll be no pain at all. There'll be no mark, nothing. It's going to be gone. That's the truth. But you know what? In that moment, when the nurse pulls out the syringe and starts walking towards you, all of a sudden, time seems to trump truth. Because we forget all about the truth. The truth is, this isn't going to hurt for long. And all we can focus on is time. Right now, that's a big needle, and here it comes. Now, I do want to say that I did a very good job. I sat there, I took it like a man, and I only cried a little bit. That's not true. I didn't cry at all because I had 2 crying children, and I had to set the example. Unfortunately, one of my children, I won't mention which one, but what he did, he cried a bit. And actually, the nurse who gave him a shot is here today, and she probably remembers this because I'm guessing they don't have a lot of kids like this. He's 8, but he had just gotten his blood drawn a couple weeks ago, and it was a really bad blood draw where he had to get lots of blood, and so he was a little sensitive to needles, but he was just uncontrollable, screaming, yelling. I'm sure that there were people in not just Tom's office, but in the building 3 buildings down, were like, what is that? He was screaming. I'm holding on to him with all I've got. And finally, shoot, and then it's over. And the truth sets in. Oh. They were right. By the time we got home, it's all forgotten. But you know what? We have a tendency to allow time to trump truth. And the whole concept of trust is that we don't do that. The idea of trust is that we're willing to allow the truth to guide us instead of allowing whatever circumstances we might find ourselves in to guide us. And how does this all play to peace? What does this have to do with peace?